Welcome to Witchcast.
Cause it's Witchcast.
I'm Emily,
I'm Kate.
and we're your co-hosts of the Witchcast podcast.
That's right. We're your learning, growing, ever-evolving novice witches here to explore everything under the woo-woo, esoteric, spiritual umbrella.
And what a beautiful umbrella it is.
It's
We
so
see a lot of
gorgeous.
different colors, a lot of glitter, a lot of interesting things under this umbrella. And today we have some very special guests who I'm
Woo-hoo!
very excited to talk to.
So excited.
From Jasper Hill Farm, we have Sam and Mateo. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Howdy. Howdy.
Glad to be here.
Oh, we're so
Thrilled
happy to have you.
Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about cheese alchemy, which is like the most exciting thing that ever happened.
I
as
cannot
far as I'm
stop
personally concerned.
grinning. I'm like so excited. I love cheese. I love alchemy.
Yeah, so a little bit of background. I met Sam at the Summer Fancy Food Show this year, and it's, you're at a conference, and a lot of times you're just kind of talking to people, and then every now and then you meet someone and you're just like, oh, we need to talk more. Or just like, it's like a little glimmer of sunshine comes through into the Javits Center floor, and you're like, this is a real person, and like, we're having a fun conversation. And so I followed up right away, because when you meet someone who says they have a dialogue addressing the alchemy of cheese, you follow up.
Absolutely.
And so here we are. Guys, what is cheese alchemy? What is the dialogue addressing the alchemy of cheese? How did it happen? Tell us all about yourselves.
Well, I guess I'd say that this has been maybe a 20-year journey, at
Wow.
least for me. And the product, I guess, this little zine, which is full of Sam's original art, by the way.
Really?
The art
That's
is
really cool.
incredible.
It's gorgeous.
And, it really begins with,
That what would you
Sigillus lactis. This is the product of 4 or 5 extended conversations that Sam, Zoe Brickley, who's our colleague, and I had over the course of 2 or 3 months. And it's a culmination, really, of a number of different realizations and threads, and a centering. And in many ways, I would say this is our collective response to the unwellness we're experiencing in the world at large. Excuse me. And it really started with a deep felt need to center fertility at the heart of our business, and in our lives, not just the business, but for us, life is work, work is play. There's not a lot of distinction between, it's one life here, at least for me. I'll speak for me. Sam,
I can agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I stay up late, thinking about these things, reading books about alchemy in the dead of winter. So I'm right there with you.
And it really is an exploration of living and dying, and of time. And cheese is memory. Cheese is a time capsule, and the rhythm of the daily work, because we milk cows 7 days a week and we turn that milk into cheese. We don't ship any milk. Means that we get to experience time and the passing of the seasons and the years. And we organize every day's labor in an archive in our cellar. And this is really our best effort to connect what's happening on our landscape, on our farm, in the creamery, the stewardship, the microbial stewardship, and the guiding hand of the cheesemaker, across across time. And so we're trying to really sew together the culture in our business and build a community around that's centered on a landscape and is producing more than just like this consumable product we think of as cheese, but uh, a product that's rooted in uh, this primordial celebration of the harvest and the plenty, the fat of the land, and to use it and our relationship with it to think about, you know, where we fit in to this grand, you know, um, miracle of life that we have the privilege of getting up in the morning and participating in. Sam, where do you think this came from? For me,
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah,
you know.
well, just to sort of circumscribe everything that you just said, and thinking back to that like day, that cold day in January where we really kicked off this project, I think a theme for us as a business is like we're not contained within sort of this simple scope of manufacturing. You know, we make a product, yeah, but there's this whole sort of internal cosmology that people who come to work with us at Jasper Hill sort of get to understand. And you see it whenever we try and talk about cheese to someone who will give us more than like 10 seconds of their time, um, that we're like, well, if we want to talk about cheese, we have to talk about hay, and if we talk about hay, we have to talk about how you build fertility in soils. And in order to talk about how you build fertility in soils, you need to talk about the way in which agricultural economies, rural economies, have been um, taken advantage of by urban centers for long periods of time, had their resources stripped away, had their sort of capital of like of fertility and growth in the landscape stripped away from them. And a lot of times at that point, people's eyes will glaze over a little bit. So as Matteo is saying, like this, the sigil we designed to encompass this alchemy of cheese making not only um, orients itself towards the process of cheese making, but also to these sort of macro and micro, these like communal and internal spiritual cycles that like we as producers of something that's more than the sum of its parts have to contend with.
Yeah.
How's that for a
That's perfect.
I'm
It's, I
sold.
mean,
circumscription?
yeah, it is. It's amazing. It's the when you sent the zine over and I read it and I just said, yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's like it's so rare that you come across something that you're just like, yeah, that's true.
It's
You
also
have
so
like the grass
beautiful. Yeah.
and the milk is related to the life and the death and the putrefaction, like this whole circle. Just like, yeah, of course. If you're a cheesemaker, you're probably really in that experience.
Yeah. I feel like as consumers, we don't think about that full cycle, that full life, how everything is related to one another. It really did make me have a greater appreciation as someone who eats a lot
Mhm.
of cheese and honestly eats a lot of
Mm.
crappy cheese. I'm not gonna lie. Like of being like, whoa, like it was so thoughtful and mindful of every little step in this process, and that it really is. Your sigil's kind of like the wheel of the earth. It's like the wheel of the seasons, like you said. It's all connected. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, and backing up a little for our listeners, I should say real fast that so because they may or may not actually be able to see you when they're first listening to this, but we'll have some images on our Instagram. So talking about the dialogue addressing the alchemy of cheese, that is the title of a zine that these guys have put out. And in terms of you both work at Jasper Hill, and I know Matteo, you're the big dog. What are your actual roles at Jasper Hill?
Yeah.
Um, well, I call myself the head cheesemaker,
Yeah.
but um, my role really is, well, let me put it this way: every cheese exists to solve a problem, and cheese making is an endless series of problems. So I'm primarily a problem solver, right? I get up in the
Love that.
mornings and solve problems, and cheese is incredibly complex. We're using microbiology to manipulate chemistry,
Mhm.
and there's plenty of things that can go wrong along the way. So, I spend a lot of my time on the farm, in the creameries, in the cellar. Um, and every now and then out in the marketplace, meeting with our customers who are always a delight, never a problem.
Good answer.
Well played,
Tongue
Well
Michelle.
in
Well
said,
cheek.
well
played.
said.
Yeah.
Uh, and then myself, I'm a junior problem solver, I guess. We're just gonna we
As
can
well
leave
as an
it
artist,
there.
obviously.
Yeah, so I do. I'm like the eyeball, I guess. I do a lot of our visual work, photography, video work, and then design content. Whether that's like labels to go on the cheese or working on a project like this in a collaborative way with Zoe, with Mateo, and Katie, who's another member of our team. So this, I get sort of the privilege of being able. I'm like the still in the distillation process, right? I take slow drips of information and feedback and um, my own inspiration and I distill it into something that is hopefully accessible to people outside of the organization.
Yeah, love it.
Very
Um,
cool.
and then so I kind of want to get into like the nitty gritty of cheese alchemy. Do you guys, would you be willing to talk us through a little bit the different transmutations, the steps in terms of the cheese alchemy, such as it is? No.
Sure. I mean, I think first you have sunlight, right? And and soil, right? So you've got light and darkness, and between them you have grass, and that's kind of the foundation of everything that we do, right? Um, Grass is in turn uh, transmuted, really, in the rumen of a cow or goat or sheep or buffalo. But rumination is like a fundamental beginning for a a process that for me is like just absolutely mind blowing. Like when I learned about rumination, because a cow can't digest grass, turns out. Cow, when she's out there grazing, um, is shopping, and then she lays down and ruminates. And rumination is this fermentation in the rumen, and there are microbes that metabolize fiber, the sugars in the forage, um, starch and protein, and multiply. Right, these microbes multiply in the rumen. They have their life cycle and they die and pass out of the rumen. And it's actually the dead microbes passing out of the rumen that power animal activity. And those dead microbes are broken down into amino acids that pass through the intestinal wall and are carried by the blood to the udder, where they're recombined into protein, from which we make cheese. Right. So about 60% of the protein in milk is of microbial origin, and it's collected. Um, I guess upstream of that, honestly, there's this like fertility cycle and insemination and the birthing of a calf and a river of this sacred liquid we call milk, right? which, you know, as mammals, you wouldn't believe how many mammals I know I've met out there that don't understand this fundamental part is that, you know, there's birth at,
Mm.
um, at the onset of everything we do. There's this like fertility, and I mentioned for centering fertility early on in our conversation, and you know, when a cow marches, or a herd of cows march across the landscape, um, they cause it to bloom. They bring fertility. They when they eat a patch of grass, you know, the plant sheds root matter and builds soil, sequesters carbon. The grass then grows, and you know the cow comes back, and it's how we build soil. We build fertility by grazing cows, right? And you know, we end up with this incredible kind of media, right? This product of this fertility process, and in a cheese vat, you know, we're inoculating that milk with microbes, and there's a whole. We can talk about that in a minute, but it's a form of insemination also. And if you think about a vat as being like a womb like um, you know, structure, you know, Basque cheesemakers still to this day um, see the act of like renneting their cheese as an act of fertility. And when they unmold their cheese from, you know, from the press, they hold it up and present it to the heavens as they would like a child, right? So running back into our primordial past, there's been this relationship between like humans, uh, ruminants in the landscape that's just like, I don't know if the word would might be pregnant, right, with life. And what we're adding to the milk to inoculate or inseminate that vat are microbes, lactic acid bacteria and lactic starters that we um, collect every day from our cheese making process and re-ferment, and it becomes like a memory. Like there's like a sourdough starter. You know, we're moving microbiology like forward in time, and our starter cultures contain the memory of all cheeses past, right,
Wow.
and the promise of all cheeses future. And so um, in this process of, you know, renneting a vat full of milk, we're actually transforming a liquid into a gel and a solid, and it's something that happens in an instant, right? There is a moment. It's called flocculation, the moment of flocculation, in which you know, milk becomes curd, and you know, we measure that time frame. We sit there, we have a timer, and we sit there and like stir it, and you can see it on the little like blade of a knife. You know, you can see it. There's a moment the milk starts to gel, and it's there's a certain inevitability. And I think one thing that I've realized, you know, when I started making cheese, I was full of fear.
Mm.
There's, you know, so much unknown. Like you can't see what's going on there, and you know, it seems risky, and there are plenty of risks to manage. But as we are raw milk cheesemakers, so we're creating these products that aren't heat treated. We're not killing the microbiology. We're using a farming system to produce this microbial diversity that becomes the foundation, and uh, yeah, there's a linear correlation between microbial diversity and complexity of flavor, right? So we're stewarding this farming system across a landscape to produce a microbiology that will reveal itself um, through time, that's captured and then revealed. And then I would say that the last part of this alchemical process in the physical sense is you have this like cheese that we've unmolded. We're going to salt it, and that helps kind of preserve uh, and steer the ecology in that cheese in a particular way. But it's like rubbery. It doesn't have any flavor. It's like got milky and boring, no character. Um, that cheese um, reveals the light within it in the darkness of the cellar, right? And you know, it's really this idea, that um, in the cellar, um, all the microbial life in that raw milk and all the life that we've added in starter cultures and the enzymes in our rennet um, begin to act on the proteins that the microbes all die and release their internal enzymes, and in so doing, clip proteins into shorter and shorter chains of amino acids and reveal flavor and aroma. And if there are problems with the milk or our process, they are also revealed. There's no lies, right? Everything will be revealed by like time in the
Mhm.
darkness of the cellar. And when things go right, it is like, you know, a pure expression of, um, and of the ecology of a whole system. And it's built on life, like, a calf being born, and death, all the microbiology that we're stewarding ultimately dies in order for, the deliciousness that's locked up in this like green cheese to be revealed in the darkness. No, that how's that for
Amazing.
a run-on sentence?
Spectacular. uh, at one point, you said this, and I just want to, for our listeners, say that you are wearing a shirt and you held up a little card that has a rainbow going into a cow. I would describe it, and then the cow, a line from the udder to the cheese, and then and then a rainbow shooting out of that cheese,
We'll
and it
post. We'll.
is
You'll
so
have to
great.
send us the picture so
Yeah,
we
Yeah,
can
yeah,
post. We'd love
yeah.
to. We
Into
also can take a screenshot. It's
the
like a play on Pink Floyd's
yeah, it's a Dark Side
album.
of the Moo.
Yes,
Dark
Dark
Side of
Side
the
of
Moo.
the Moon.
Dark Side
Yeah.
of the Moon. Sam, did
Amazing.
you make that?
No, that
Not one of
predates
yours?
me actually. That's but it's
Oh,
That's
that
a
makes me
that's
so
very
happy.
Zoe Brickley,
yeah.
uh,
Ah.
who is a genius in her capacity to create and simplify these complicated ideas. Um,
Yeah.
but so, like this alchemy of cheese is something that we've been like flirting with and talking about in different ways and different parts of for a really long time. And it's really like Sam's kind of total dedication and artistry that like pulled it together into like, an image that kind of sums it all up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, like, how did so I mean, you are very passionate and knowledgeable cheesemakers. You are the first cheesemakers we've interviewed, full disclosure, but I'm assuming not all cheesemakers or cheesemongers approach the art with this kind of poetic mindfulness that you all do. So, if you could talk us through, Sam, I'd love to how did you take this amazing complex life and be like, I'm going to create this sigil and we're going to use the metaphor of alchemy. Like, how did the marriage of those two ideas come together?
Yeah, so a lot of the like notion of like this process, the one that Matteo just outlined in pretty great detail, and how it resembles sort of this um, traditionally held notion of transmutation in the alchemical practice. That thread has existed here for a while. I think what I my approach is always like that of a technocrat sort of. I really like knowing kind of the milieu that we're dealing with. So I dove deep into looking at a lot of old like alchemical texts and emblems, and you can find these pages from 15th, 16th century alchemical texts where they have um, these sort of holy geometries, often aligned with like large, broad seasonal cycles in the sort of turning of the zodiac as they correspond to steps in the process. So in the image itself, we borrowed a lot of language from traditional alchemy. Many of the words, save for I think rumination, are ones that have been used in like traditional alchemical like practice um,
Yeah.
and in procedure. So we've kind of borrowed a lot of the language of alchemy and then recontextualized it in sort of this modern cheese making sense. So I feel like I was able to sort of bridge a gap between like the big picture, which is fluid and like big, and kind of put some words to it. And we workshop like how we were going to um, access different parts of the process through these words. Like Mateo and I had a little get together back in what was it, like March or something, where we went kind of word by word and sub things in and pulled things out, and until we really found the right reflection throughout this emblem, which again, the core, there's a quadrant in the core that are sort of our elemental steps. And then there are seven sort of procedural steps that are in the middle. They're sort of the terrestrial layer of this image, um, where they are our daily ritual, the quotidian cheese making cycle. And then what didn't initially exist in early drafts of this, but felt indispensable by the end, was this like outer firmament of five terms: the rumination, insemination, conception, maturation, and disintegration, which is this like macro fertility cycle. So it's able to draw from something spiritual, elemental, to terrestrial, quotidian, to like celestial, big picture for us. So I feel like
Awesome.
looking at a lot of old texts was the way
Yeah.
I went about it.
I love that. Do you both have an interest in alchemy otherwise, or otherwise I know you mentioned that you both have like tarot decks around, so do you feel, are you
Are
like in
you
the witchy
witchy?
spectrum? Yeah, I-
Are you out of the broom
are
closet or?
yeah, are you in the broom closet or how's it going?
I'd say that I'm I'm like next to the broom closet, but I'm married to a wonderful, wonderfully witchy woman who's trying to
Ah.
uh, get me in or out of the closet. I'm not sure where she wants me with a broom.
With
Uh,
the broom either way.
yeah,
There's a broom and a closet regardless.
yeah. Um, and but the like, I've been trying to, um, for my own spiritual well-being, and practice. For me, it really is about uh, trying to be centered in the present and access the vitality of life and the spark that is with us, the miracle of the sun rising and setting, and like locating myself, um, remembering that I'm standing on a planet that's like revolving at 900 miles a second or something
Wild.
like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
um, I've always tried to find the space to remember who I am and where I am, and find purpose and meaning in the way I spend my time, right? So, and cheese making for me is um, a way of accessing meaning in my work. And that's been true from the very, very beginning. And it's um, something that I try and share with as many people as I can. This, like, it's a primordial thing that we're a part of, something ancient that we're doing here. We have this like incredibly modern facility, but the work that we're doing stretches back to the dawn of civilization, right? Um, at the dawn of civilization, there was cheese. It was there. There was cheese there. In
Amazing.
some ways, cheese is what makes us human, the way we understand that today. And um, you know, we're trying to figure out how to uh, uh, honor our or renew our contract with like the wild, with nature, and to live within the boundaries of um, our landscape, and create a truly like sustainable and regenerating life here. And that goes for our community, and the people that are on that landscape, the people that are in our business, the people that are adjacent to our business. Um, and, ultimately it's this idea that cheese is a powerful force for good, right? Um, I don't know what the question was,
That's
but
great.
I don't know,
He's
but I'm
next.
writing down
He's
cheese
next
as
to
a
the broom
powerful force
closet.
for good.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Oh yeah, the question was, are you like, do you self-identify, or how do you self-identify spiritually, I guess.
Yeah. How did
mhm.
like were you always into alchemy? Were you witchy? How about you, Sam? Were you always into alchemy or you have a witchy side?
Yeah. I mean, I have a Hierophant tattoo, so
Hell
Amazing.
there's
yeah.
that.
I also noticed you're
Um,
in a room that's all black. Love it.
yeah. You're in the right. You're amongst friends here. But I mean, like, so when it comes to alchemy, this year has really been my first sort of big dive into like the historical context of alchemy, but in many ways I identify a lot with that, like um, the notion of self-edification of spirit through the work that Matteo just touched on as well. Like for me, I came to the food world as an artist, as an oil painter, and many of the things and the depth that I found as an oil painter were in like making my own paints, like with a glass pestle and all this other
Mm.
like really kind of like mixing solutions, mixing minerals into my paint to give them a certain sheen. There's this like notion that like the tools of your trade are sort of conduits for like spiritual self growth. So that's something that's been pretty consistent for me. And I come at spirituality from like a pan spiritual sense. Like I think it's like a many faced God. Um, and I kind of came to a lot of like interesting places with it early in my life through investigating like Tibetan Buddhism, and through the like philosophy of Baruch de Spinoza and Bertrand Russell and things like that. So I have like I guess a psycho spiritualist approach to um, you know the different manifestations of things that are beyond and within us. Does that make any
Love that.
Cool. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, this is, I feel like the ethos of this podcast is very much like, it's a wide world out there. Why not taste a few different things and see, see what's,
sense? Yeah.
see what's going on. And just sort of like looking at all the different ways to look at the world, because I don't know. I mean, I think that we're both people that came from a background of like Christianity, but just sort of said maybe like this sort of structured Christianity isn't for me. There's like it doesn't connect, and went looking for something else.
Yeah.
That's definitely true for me.
Mhm.
And, you know, as I've really started thinking and writing more deeply and reading more over the past couple of years, I'd say that I'm probably like an animist,
Mm,
uh,
love.
but and I've been heavily influenced by a couple of writers, Martine Prechtel, who's if you just go read something by Martin Prechtel and Bayo Kumalafe, who's a Nigerian uh, philosopher and writer. And both of those guys have just really like opened my world up and influenced some of what is in, this alchemy of cheese making, like dialogue
Very cool.
That's
for
We
sure.
awesome.
have not spoken to an animist yet. I should say for listeners who are interested that we have spoken with an alchemist before back in our first or second
I think it was our
season.
first season. Oh my gosh, many years ago.
But it's the one about Hermetic Kabbalah, if anyone's interested in alchemy specifically and wants to go backward and learn a little bit about the fundamentals of that. But
Yes.
Animist might be a good one to add to the
Yeah,
list,
that
Kate.
maybe that's our next episode. I have a
But
fun
definitely,
question. Oh
I'll,
yeah.
we'll read the books too. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, yes. Thank you for the
Sorry.
recommendations. Taking notes. I have a fun question for you both. Uh if your cheeses could cast a spell on someone, what kind of spell would each of your varieties cast, and what would be a side effect of those spells? Because I have you quoted, Mateo, from I think this is from your website, that the Bailey Hazen Blue is the tastiest thing you've slid down your gullet. So curious, like, what are some of your favorite cheeses, and what would their magic powers be?
Well, just in keeping with like the theme here, I'd probably say Alpha Tolman, which is a raw milk hard cooked pressed cheese that we produce using our own starter and rennet, and is probably the most natural um, cheese in our collection. And I'd say that if there was a spell, it would be memory, right? Because
Mm.
that that cheese specifically holds all the memories of this place and time. Um, and
I love that.
beyond that, just leave it at that, I guess. Remembering,
I
a,
love
a
it.
remembering cheese.
Um,
Any thoughts, Sam?
I like that. I don't know how to follow that. Um, I keep coming back to like Winnemere, as a cheese that has a certain kind of like mysterious quality. It's a seasonal raw milk cheese wrapped in spruce bark. So
Ooh.
it already has this sort of like it feels like a mossy megalith you would find um in the woods, and it also kind of the roundness of it. I feel like it's almost like a wood nymph siren like drawing you to the woods or something, but I feel like Windermere would be the sort of cure to some encounter with a siren wood nymph. So it's like the find your way home cheese. Like it will always
Ooh.
like a sundial might show you time through the sun. It kind of directs you, always points north.
To the quiet, mossy green places.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
Kate, that
want
was such
cheese
a
so
creative
bad right now.
question.
Thank you.
um,
I just really want to talk more about cheese.
You
I want to eat it and
know,
talk about it.
one of the things I think that really, historically, we have leaned very intensely into like the science of cheese making. We have a microbiology lab. We have collaborations with research institutions. We have some of the most sequenced microbiology in of any cheesemaker, maybe anywhere. Um, and this is just like a really like we went deep, and we still do. We're going deep on the science of cheese making, and um, one of the takeaways from all of this like investigation and curiosity that we continue to explore is that microbes are the invisible actors that are ubiquitous across this process, and they are unseen, right?
Mm.
And I think, you know, in earlier eras, that's where the quote unquote magic would have been. The mysticism is related to this, like, you know, these processes that are beyond comprehension at any given time. And it might be like tempting to say, "Oh, it's just microbes." You know, that's what it is. It's microbes, and um, it's caused me to realize that like microbes are the like secret actors behind, you know, our own health and well-being, like but you know, it's like all of nature is just like this teeming invisible like microbial dance, this succession and evolution that's happening in real time, and we can see the effects of it, but we can't actually really see it unless we really use these instruments to look at it. And the more I've understood about microbiology, the more wonderment and at the miracle of like what's happening in the unseen, I've come to like embrace. And so it hasn't, you know, this like this scientific like kind of rigor that we bring to like our work hasn't diminished the wonder. It's augmented it, it's magnified it, it's blowing our minds like what we're a part of and actually what we are stewarding, right? We are stewards of this invisible world, of this invisible life as cheesemakers, as farmers. You know, we are cultivating and curating this microbial ecology that is foundational. And in some ways, that is the spiritual dimension of what we're involved in here. So, like this, the metaphysical part um, is not diminished by the physical, invisible world that we cultivate.
Right. To
We
understand
have,
what it's doing is not to not have wonder for it.
Yeah,
Like,
That's so cool. Well, like what's that saying that like magic is just science we can't explain yet, you know, or like that we don't see. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. That's so cool.
and I was gonna say we have gods. They are just many, and they are very, very small.
very
I
tiny.
love that.
Yeah.
Many, many small
I
gods.
wouldn't be
yeah.
shocked if like 1,000 years from now, what we're like, oh, the universe is telling me, or like people are like, oh, I feel God in this room. It's like microbes being like, blah, blah, blah.
They're just microbes. I think we're all just micro. We're all just
They're
like many
pulling the
layers of
strings.
Yeah.
microbes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They like I mean, there's so much research now too that shows that your gut microbiome has a huge impact on various parts of your mental health and physical well-being.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
yeah,
Personally, intimately, I know. I feel that. Yeah. Should we draw a cardam? I know we have
Yeah,
so
I
much
guess
more to
it's about
talk
that
about,
time. I
but
know. I feel like we could ask you guys a lot more questions, but I guess we
talk.
can't keep you
I
forever.
guess we'll just have to come visit and try some cheese and
Right.
talk more
Yeah.
alchemy.
Yeah, we're always
come
threatening a
on
road
up.
trip
Ooh,
for it.
twist our arm. Yeah.
No, we'll show you around. Come on up.
Yes.
Okay. So Sam, you have a deck, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which one do we want to do here, Mateo? Do you want the Woodland Wardens, little furry creatures, or go with the traditional?
Let's do the furry creatures,
Okay,
woodland
great.
woodland wardens.
So this is a deck by Jessica Rue called Woodland Wardens, um, which is a great deck. So it's got various suits of animal classes here. And Mateo, you tell me when. I'm going to keep shuffling here till you
Oh, I
say
love
when.
this.
When
Okay. And then we'll cut it once, twice, thrice. And we'll pull the top card here. We have the Butterfly and Snowdrop
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
as the
wow,
card we pulled. And if you want me
Beautiful.
to read
yeah,
the
please.
passage here in the
Yes.
Yeah, always
in
love
the
to hear what
book.
the people that made the deck had to say about the card.
Yeah, I gotta
It's
find
gorgeous.
my insects. It's really pretty. The illustrations are quite nice.
Yeah, please send us a photo and we'll post it on our Instagram as well.
I absolutely will. Here we go. The butterfly and snowdrop, meaning hope. Um, the butterfly and snowdrop, two symbols of spring, remind us that winter will soon end and hope is on the horizon. So we're getting back into the seasons here, Mateo. Butterflies develop through metamorphosis, transforming
Mm.
from an egg into a larva and then becoming a pupa or chrysalis, and finally hatching into an adult animal. Alchemy, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The egg stage is so humble, and the full grown butterfly so astounding, the process can feel like magic. The snowdrop has a bit of magic about it as well. It is one of the first flowers to appear towards the end of winter, signifying that brighter, longer days are just around the corner. Um, a period of hardship is coming to a close, and better days are ahead. Take heart in the signs of the coming thaw.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Yes, we
Mateo's
accept.
like, thank goodness.
Oh,
Hard times at the cheese farm. Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful message and so perfect for everything we talked about today.
yeah. And for 2025, let me tell
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that. I was in my little cheese bubble just now. I'm just
You're
like,
still thinking,
Yeah.
understandably.
just thinking about the cycle of life and
But
cheese
yeah,
and
perfect card
fertility.
for a conversation about transformation, you know?
Oh, yes, amazing.
love it.
I
That was
love it.
perfect.
So, where can people find you? How can they read more about the dialogue addressing the alchemy of cheese making? How can they buy your cheeses? And all of the above.
First and foremost, if you want to find our delicious cheeses, get thee to a cheesemonger. If you have any specialty, small, independent cheese shops in a town or city near you, they are the lifeblood of our industry. These are the most passionate people, and they are the people on the front lines defending real cheese, which, as you can probably tell, takes a lot to make, and we need people like them. So always go support your independent cheese shop.
Mm.
And if you seek to become an adept in the alchemy of cheese making, we do have zines on our online cheese shop, which you can find at jasperhillfarm.com.
All right, awesome. And if they want to, I don't know, connect with you guys, is there any way? Do you want that?
Yeah. Follow
Sam,
you on
mostly I know
Insta
that
or
Mateo,
Yeah,
you're not on social, but
you can shoot us a DM at Jasper Hill Farm or find our general contact on our website. We're always checking the inbox. So those are
if
probably
they
the
want to
two
chat cheese
primary.
alchemy year round.
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll
If
link
not
to
necessarily
everything.
always right away.
yeah. It might take us a day or two to get back to you. We're
You're
busy.
busy. We're
We're a small
busy.
team. We're
Hey,
busy.
you got a lot
We
going
just
on.
heard all the steps. That's so much to do.
There's
Oh,
plenty to
amazing.
do. Yeah.
Before we get to the very last thing, I wanted to say that you had said before we started recording that you weren't on social media and that part of that was through the journey that like
Oh yeah.
guided you to cheese alchemy. And I'm curious, just quickly, what?
What?
Tell us
um,
more.
well, I think that obviously social media can be a way of connecting, but it sure is a time sucker.
Hmm.
Mm.
And in this like meditation around time and cheese and alchemy, locating myself within time. I feel like I had to take my time back, right? Not give my time away, um, um, or allow it to be monetized by uh, others.
Evil corporations.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
You know, I really, you know, I have a quite addictive personality. So I just, there's a certain point last fall when, you know, things really started getting kind of crazy, and where I just made the decision to like unplug from that world and try and plug into like the world that surrounds me, and to live here in the center, right in the middle of it, and not to be distracted by, you know, shiny things. Yeah,
Good for you.
yeah.
Maybe I'll strive to be more like that.
Yeah. And until we have the same
Yeah.
enlightenment, you can find us on the internet at
Yeah.
witchcastpodcast.com.
Please follow us.
Yeah.
Our Instagram is at witchcastpodcast. You can email us at witchcastpodcast@gmail.com. And while you're out there on the internet, you can always leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your fine podcasts to listen to.
Yeah. 5 stars.
5
Yeah, it helps
stars.
us.
5 stars.
And we will link to everything that Sam and Mateo talked about on our Instagram and on our website, witchcastpodcast.com. So if you want to check them out and learn more about cheese alchemy, you can find those resources there. What is
Ooh, I got
that?
an image of
Oh
currents,
my
not
gosh.
kings.
Mateo just held up this like tarot. What is that? Who did that illustration?
Sam did.
That Sam did? Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
You
Can
Yeah.
we also post that too? Can you
Yeah.
take a picture of it? It says Curds, not
I
Kings.
want that on a shirt, honestly.
Yes.
Someone already has gotten it tattooed on their body.
Really?
A
Did they
cheese
pay you
martyr,
for it? I hope they paid you for the use of
I'm
your
I'm
artwork.
just happy it's out there on a bicep somewhere in the
Yeah,
world.
you guys need to get some
beautiful.
cheese alchemy merch because I think that would be a big, shall I say, cash cow for you all.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm saying. Oh,
Awesome.
thank
well,
you
it
so
has
much for
been
joining
an
us.
absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Thank
you
you
all.
for having us.
And until next time,
Heck
Heck
yeah!
'Cause it's Witchcast.